Welcome to the Hidden Driveway Show. I'm your host, Amu, and then join me today. We have a very special guest, NUNU.WAVE. If you'd like to introduce
Yeah.
yourself.
All right. See, as you know, my name is NUNU.WAVE, and I'm just trying to trying to get myself out there more and trying to create more of a sound for myself for people to enjoy.
Yeah, well, I'd say you've been doing a pretty good job of that recently, though. I feel like you have, especially with the album you just put out, which we'll talk more about later. There's a very because I know you rap, you've been doing a lot more singing recently, and there's a very chill, kind of bedroomy sound a lot of your music, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like in a way, I feel like it fits me more because my whole purpose of music is just make things that people relate to. Like for instance, back to my album, the reason I've experimented with that sound is because I feel like I want people to understand that it's okay to not be okay. You can be at your lowest, people are going to be there for you or people are not going to be there for you. And that's okay. That's how life works sometimes. You have to figure out what you want to do. And it's going to take a struggle, but things will be cool. So that's my whole, pickup on music. It was always my vending source. So it was a full circle for me.
Yeah. To get us started though, is there anything you'd like to talk about? So it could be music related, could be not, just anything on your mind right now.
I can probably I might as well break down the whole album thing and talk more about it because I don't think many people really know the whole backstory of that anyways. So it's just made off of characters. So the character EC, Ernest Clark, I made him up because I feel like it's a character that I can make up and feel related to. It's kind of half off of my own experience and half off of people I knew in the past. And when it comes to that, I just feel like I had a lot of power, and I feel like I did a good job in a 19-minute mark because it was a short album, yes, but overall, if I'm getting people in my DM saying they feel related to it, or if I'm getting people that are in my music group saying that I did a good job, then I know that I did a good job. That's just me personally. Now, I can understand that people wish the songs be longer, but it holds a lot of power and replay value when it's short. Like, for instance, you can go back to old X songs, old Trippie Redd songs, all the 2017 SoundCloud rappers. You would see 1 minute, 30 seconds, and you can, replay value. And that's a big key in music in general. If you want to have a good song, you need to have replay value.
Well, do you think that some songs are ever too short though? Do you wish some songs would be a little longer?
Yeah, sometimes. I'll say it's kind of like a double-edged sword because it's easy to make the songs, but when you look back at it, sometimes you really wish you did more. But it also leaves more ideas on the table, I'll say.
Yeah, I do think it works for that album though. I don't know if you looked at any reviews online for it, but I saw one where there was some 30-year-old guy that really likes the Island Collective apparently. He's reviewed all of Payton's projects, but he was saying that it was some rap songs if it was made by XXXTentacion, and I can kind of see that.
Yeah, that's one of my inspirations too. My thing is, as much as it's enjoyable to be compared to one of my inspirations, it does get a little bit annoying because, no offense, I love his music. I grew up with his music. My thing is, it's not exactly like his. X would not be doing jazz music, and this is not disrespectful. He wouldn't be doing jazz music like that, personally, I'll say. And he would do his own little twists. And with the guitar stuff, I'll say it's more inspired off of Jades, if you know who Jades is.
Yeah.
And especially with my homeboy Craig.Wave, because I make a lot of music with him. So of course I'm gonna have a flow similar to him. So I can admit that. With Jades, he definitely inspired the muffled vocals you hear on the songs, because I feel like I was able to use it in my own direction because with the muffled vocals, it's more like when your mental health dips, you can feel when you're not okay, and that's what brought out more of the artistic frame of the art of the album.
Yeah, I definitely think you have your own swag though, because sometimes I can tell when people are a really big X fan or a Jades fan. I could definitely see those influences there, but I could tell you were taking them and then doing something different, especially with the production, because I really haven't heard a lot of songs that sound like the ones off that album, especially all paired together like that.
Yeah. I wanted to. I was just trying to like mix up ideas because before I even had the album, it was just supposed to be like a jazz EP first. But then I had to scrap some songs and I tried to do like a therapy type of EP. But then all around was like, hey, what if I just mix these together? I'll probably just get this result. And it worked out really well.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I will say, I would kind of wish that I organized the album a little more because it does sound like demos.
I think when they're all like that, though, it works. Like, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I also agree, but like some people's standpoints, it's more like, you just got an album full of demos, and I can understand that because the songs are incredibly short. But I'm not gonna really. I guess I just more preferred it to be 19 minutes because it gave me more ideas for later songs.
Yeah, plus it's also not like you're being like, oh, this is the greatest album ever made. Like, you're not doing that. It's just a
Yeah,
little
no,
thing you
that's
made.
like
So
yeah, that's like my first ever album. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest ever, but I'll say for my first ever album, I did a pretty good job.
that's good looking at it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at right now. But I want to go back to the beginning because I initially learned about you in early
Mhm.
2024 after you added to the Island Collective. When you're still going
Right.
by MG, which I did not know how to like pronounce at
Oh
all.
yeah, that's how you say it. It's NG.
Yeah, no, but when I was
Yeah.
doing Ghostie's interview, I brought you up. I was like 3MG. Like, I had no clue what I was saying, so that's in there somewhere. Um,
Ah man.
but I thought your name looked super cool though, so I was immediately like really curious on what you were doing. And since then, I've become a big fan of your work, and I really like the balance that you have with the like slow guitar ballads versus the more like fun aggressive songs that you have. So how did you first get into making music? And then I know you listed some of them, but who were some of your other influences for your music?
All right. So how I first got into music, honestly, when I was like starting my freshman year, they used to have like this thing called Soundtrap, and it would give you like this
Oh, I
easy
had Soundtrap too.
producing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I used to like make beats on Soundtrap. So I was just like, just being curious and my love for music grew. So fast forward to probably my sophomore year is when I met Craig. Like, I re-met with Craig because prior to that, me and him used to go to elementary school together. So
Mm-hmm.
we knew each other for a hot minute, but then he went to Philadelphia. So, me and him got together, found out we made music, and I was like, cool, yada yada. And my homeboy Lazy, that doesn't really get talked about much, he kind of got me into music more by me using my vocals. So when it comes to me starting music, I'm really gonna give my credit to Craig and Lazy because those two were the two people that were like, "Hey, you can do this," and I was like, "You know what? Sure, why not? I'll try it."
Mm-hmm.
And inspirations, honestly, I already said X. I know I said Jades. I'll probably say Trippy Red too because Trippy Red was a big part of my middle school. I'll say Sad Boy Shaq because Sad Boy Shaq was also a part of like my middle school days, and I still listen to this day. But he was like a really big part of my, I guess, like my music loving.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, some people from our other collective name Secret Society, I'll say Blank Space Eli because I listen to him a lot. He's also inspired me. Seven, who's also a part of the island in the Secret Society. I'll say Lil Z Romani, who's a part of the Secret Society because even though he's like one of the youngest people, he's been rising. He's been great. Love that dude. I'll say Saya. Saya's a little bit of seven, who's also a part of both. Like, there's just so many people I'm like surrounded by that I'm inspired by. Payton, Jay, all them. Like, they put me in a really good spot to like really love music.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah, I think it's awesome that you really have like a community to do music in, and especially like IRL too, because like I know like, you and Craig make music like together, like in real life when you do it.
We don't go in the same area. Sometimes we do. Me and him did have like at least two or three songs on his iPhone using the same earbuds.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when it comes to me and Chris, well, that's his name. But me and him like make like a lot of music together, and that's probably what really made me and him close because we would just have fun doing it, and it was pretty. He was the reason why I'm even in the Secret Society group, and that I ended up getting him and Seven and Saya into the island, so it was like a fair trade.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, just trying to like make sure that things go smooth and we got good connections all around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then do you still produce? Because I was looking at your SoundCloud, and there's some songs where there won't be like a credit for it. So like, is that you when it's like that?
Ah, honestly, sometimes I just be forgetting to like forget the producer. Now, some of my old songs, yes, I'll say 7 a.m. Hate Song was the one I produced it. There was another one called Future or whatever. I produced that one. I'll have to remember the rest because I'm pretty sure I deleted some songs off of SoundCloud, but there are a few songs I have produced and still up.
Yeah. So like, do you have any production influences then?
Mm, not really, honestly. It was weird because I mean, I wasn't like really intelligent in terms of like music wise back then. So I didn't really know producers like that. I was just like doing it just because I was like, oh, cool beat. I want to do something like that. Or like, so it was just like random and it kind of worked for a little bit.
Yeah. Do you think you'd want to explore producing like more of your own stuff, or is that not where your head's at right now?
I'll say this. If the time does come, I would love to try to produce again. But right now, because I made the switch over and, being an artist made it a lot better and easier for me. Like, I feel like I'd probably rather stick with being an artist.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like producing your own stuff is what I meant.
No, I know. It was really annoying being a producer.
Yeah, I mean, it's, especially with the mixing, it can be so annoying because you like get hung up on the beat and how you sound on it. It can be a lot to deal with sometimes.
Yeah. That's probably why I made the switch personally, because I was like, I just didn't have the right equipment to really do it. Because you can only go so far with Soundtrap. And when I was using it, I was able to use my school account. So I had like a lot of like unlimited things.
Mm-hmm.
So once that was taken away, just like,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Wait, so like, what do you use now to make music then?
I use BandLab. Yeah, it's nothing too crazy, but it gets the job done.
Okay, I see why you don't want to be producing then, because yeah, producing on Bandlab does not sound.
Sounds hellish.
Yeah, so I don't blame you. I thought you were on FL or something.
Yeah, nah.
I know some people who like prefer the Bandlab, like it's just easier for them to record on Bandlab than it is on FL. So like I get like wanting to stick to it.
Yeah, it is. I'll say if I was given a chance to use FL, I would try it. Would I enjoy it? Most likely not. But would I want to like keep trying to learn it? Most definitely. I do want to sound more professional. For crying out loud, my setup is actually pretty terrible. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's funny because like I use I use a Chromebook and I use a broken headset. Let me find the headset real quick. So listen, don't laugh, but like my headset don't got no like mic. Let me find it real quick. Listen, my headset don't got no microphone.
But so how do you,
I have to use the Chromebook mic.
bro?
I have to use the Chromebook mic. And so like I've done it for like I don't know. In terms of artist wise, I've been making music for 3 years. Well, now 3 years. So it's like just doing that like for like a lot just kind of like helped me out.
Yeah, plus like isn't the Chromebook mic like in the middle of the computer, like by the screen? Like, so do you have to like record like this when you're doing it?
Kind of like that, yeah. I would sometimes have to like I guess like make sure that it doesn't like pick up on like its sound and it would sometimes like take away a lot of time with the song and I'm gonna have to like keep recording until I figure out a way for it not to pop.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a bit annoying itself because there's been many songs where I would hear like dry wire sounds, especially on my old songs, it would be like that. And that's when I was recording on Soundtrap. So like for like a good half of my career, well, I guess yeah, career, I was like rapping on Soundtrap before I moved over to BandLab.
Yeah, but, like it can be workable though. Like on my friend Cameron show, he sometimes like he's recorded this like super loud like industrial song in like a Walmart parking lot using his like laptop mic. But I feel like with that because the song is so like blown out, you can't really
It works
tell.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds awesome though in the parking lot.
yeah, just in his car.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think your setup's cool too though because like even though it might not be like the best, it shows you're so passionate about doing it and like you're just willing to do like whatever it takes to make it work.
Yeah. Actually, I have a funny story related to the Chromebook because I think last year or 2 years ago, my little brother accidentally stepped on the Chromebook, so it was broken. So I have to use the HDMI cord to connect it to the computer to even see the screen. So like, if I was ever recording and someone like would like capture me recording, they would see me like slightly slouching my head down to the Chromebook, looking off to the TV while the TV's all the way up on the damn desk. And I'm just like over here adjusting my headset and like I'll have to like listen with one ear out and I gotta make sure the volume's not too loud for it to like kind of like bleed through the vocals.
Mm.
So I gotta like balance out a lot of things while doing it.
But like it works though. I had no idea what your setup was, and I thought your music sounded good. So
Thank you. It really works really well. I'm surprised it does, but I'm not complaining. Whatever works, man.
yeah. Speaking of people that you work with, as I stated before, you remember the Island Collective, but you're
Mm-hmm.
also part of Secret Society, which is a group that
Yep.
I was not familiar with like at all until researching for this. I realized there's a big overlap in members that are in both. So how did you first get involved with those groups, and then how they impacted your music?
I'll say this: Secret Society got me first when I was like just starting out because of Chris. So when that first started off, I didn't know what to really do. Blank Space, Seven, Chris, and Z were kind of there to like help me out. And it kind of just like worked out, especially with Chris, because the fact that I got to see Chris at school, it just like me and him clicked well, and he helped me out with my flows.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the island, I believe Peyton actually DM'd me, and we just kind of like hit it off the bat, and it was cool because that was like my first time where somebody like picked them and was like, "Hey, you have potential. I want you in this group. Yada yada. We can talk things out," and that's what happened. So they kind of got me in the middle of me getting better, and it just kind of worked out because they both helped me like involve my sounds and I guess get get like just try things out, and it was
Mm-hmm.
just cool.
Yeah, and did Peyton find you through like Reels or something? Like, how did he find you initially?
I don't actually. That's funny. I don't really know. He just like DM'd me, and I was like, "Oh, hey," it was just cool. I didn't really. I don't know how it happened, but I'm glad it happened
Mm-hmm.
because with the island, you got so many talented people that it really helps. Like it gets you out there for real. And with Secret Society, the reason I have that group held dear to my heart because that's just the way where I started.
Yeah, I think having those groups is so helpful though, especially like when you're starting out because you have people that you can like go to for questions and stuff.
Yeah, it's very helpful.
And I think it helps making music feel like less lonely too.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you think about it, when you're making music, you're just kind of alone in your room by yourself, right? And
Yeah,
without those groups and communities, like you're putting it out there. If you're a small artist, like who's listening to it? Like you don't even know. So having that
yeah,
group like really helps with that, I think.
it really helps. I feel like in a way when you're surrounded by multiple talented people and it's just not just like one person where you can rely on music, it helps you expand like your sound. It helps you expand your thinking. It helps you like I guess involve in more flows. And that's one thing I'm appreciative about because when it comes to just working with people in general, I was able to. It makes it easy for me to work with people that's outside the group. Like I'm about to have a collab EP with one of my basically mentors, and like that's coming out in March.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's more like a. I guess I'm technically bringing back the more aggressive rapping style I used to do, and I just kind of stopped because I just want to switch things up. But otherwise, I feel like because I'm able to bounce back of flows and bounce back between rapping and singing because of the people I'm surrounded by, it just makes things easier. It makes you feel more reliable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's also great for collabing too because like you can rely on them more to actually like get stuff back on time and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, though. It's very awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I have my own collective that's like it's not as active now as it used to be, although we're trying to bring it back a little bit. And it's like without
Mm-hmm.
them, like I would not be here today doing what I'm doing. I don't think.
Yeah, I could feel you on that, man. But that's pretty awesome. You got a collective you on too.
Mm-hmm. Moving on. So to prepare for this interview, I listened through your entire discography, And I thought it was really interesting to see the shift you've taken recently where you started singing more in your music, although you still rap on
Mhm.
occasion. And I now know that you'll be rapping more in the future as well, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, but it's been cool to see you be more like open to singing and stuff and
Mhm.
just like opening yourself up more artistically. So,
Mhm.
what are some things that you used to not like but have since changed your opinion on?
I'll say when I was like a little younger, I really hated autotune until I noticed that it was just there to kind of correct my vocals. Because at one point I was just like, nah, I don't need autotune. I can just raw dog this. And then once I voice cracked, I was like, okay, maybe I need autotune a bit. And I don't regret it at all because it was a learning experience. And now with all this singing stuff, I'm hitting notes that I usually want to hit because the autotune somewhat corrects it.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps me like know what key I need to sing in, and it helps a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty subtle though, because like I didn't realize you were using auto tune. So
Yeah, because I make sure it's not like a lot, but it's where you can. It's not like you can hear it. It's more like to where it's correct, where it's not off key, where it's not off balance, where it's
yeah,
not overrunning it.
no, I've
So
always
that's
loved the
one
like the Travis Scott style of auto tune where it's just so like obvious and it's
thing.
like almost kind of beautiful. Like that's how I like using auto tune personally.
Yeah, I feel you on that. If I was able to do that, I probably would. I don't. I just don't think it would fit my voice.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, that's like another big thing with my music that I've kind of learned about. Apparently, I have a different type of voice that not many people have, which is cool. I never thought I would have a different voice. I thought it would just be like because I used to be really insecure about my voice. So it took a lot for me to even want to rap or sing.
Mm-hmm.
So it just did a lot. So to hear like people be like, "Hey, you got a good voice on you. Hey, your singing voice is nice." It's pretty cool to get that now.
You know, there's a very like special quality that your voice has where it just feels very like I had a word in mind for it earlier. I can't think of it now, but it just feels like very natural the way you do stuff. I guess it doesn't sound that like you're trying too hard either.
Thank you. I'll be trying like a motherfucker. Trying hard sometimes. I admit that. I guess it's more like because I'm able to like change range of voices, it adds more to it. Oh, I just forgot an inspiration. Kendrick Lamar. That's also one of my inspirations. I forgot to say that. But that's like another thing. Cause I used to listen to Kendrick Lamar when I was like really young, probably about 5 years old. That was like my first rapper I ever heard. So to hear that at a young age, it kind of like always made me like think about voice changes
Mm-hmm.
because it just brings out more things. It brings out more possibilities and song ranges that people wouldn't think I'll do.
Yeah, he's been doing that a lot more recently, where he'll like mess around with, like different inflections and stuff more. Because I realized like listening to like him and like Tyler especially, like I was that a lot of artists really don't mess with like their inflection that much when they rap.
You just remind me of that inspiration, Tyler Creator. It's just a lot of people I love,
Mm-hmm.
especially Tyler Creator. He's so damn good. They're great.
Yeah. If I had to say something that I used to not like that I do now, that's not music related, I would say pizza. I was like a big pizza hater for a long time.
You know what? That's fair. I used to. There was a reason why I didn't like pizza either, and it was because I used to like spend time with my cousins, and they would always get pizza. And once you start eating things repetitively, you start not liking them. And it probably took me like a good 2 years to get used to eating pizza again because it was just too eating or whatever.
No, I was like 16 when I had pizza for the first time, I think.
Really?
Yeah, well, and I realized there was this like deep rooted reason for why I wouldn't that I'd forgotten about. But it's because when I was in preschool, they were serving pizza for like lunch, and this kid at my
Mm-hmm.
table like coughed on my pizza, so I wouldn't eat it.
Oh,
And
that's
after that,
horrible.
I just refused to like eat pizza.
You know what? That's very valid. I wouldn't want to eat food that got coughed on at a young age. Actually, there's one thing that I've strongly restricted myself from drinking at one point, and it was probably chocolate milk because when I was in my first grade, what had happened was they didn't really take care of the milks right, and apparently the milk that I drank was like spoiled,
Oh,
and so yeah,
oh.
it was spoiled chocolate milk, and I was just traumatized, and I was like, I'm never drinking this ever again. And fast forward, out of school and all, I'm still not drinking chocolate milk because it just leaves a weird taste now. Because that was probably the first time I even tried chocolate milk. So knowing that's technically how it would taste to me, I wouldn't want to drink the same thing that made me want to throw up. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. No, I was a really picky eater when I was little, so like pasta was another one. Like I had pasta for the first time when I was like 18, and it was only because I got invited to my professor's like house for like an end of the semester party thing, and
Right.
she had cooked for us and made pasta. So of course I went to eat what my professor made, and the pasta was actually really good. And I was like, why was I just not letting myself eat this whole time?
I don't know. It probably looked weird to you at some point.
I'm like, I
I
don't
mean,
do good
sometimes
with
food.
like saucy food, so I think that's a big thing. Like it's like a sensory thing for
Mm,
me, but it still
that makes
tasted
sense.
good.
Got you. It's just more like the sensory thing is what throws you off.
Yeah, that was part of it with pizza also, but I don't even really notice it now.
Mm. Maybe it was more like just being used to it.
That too, but it was like a thing for a long time where I wouldn't eat pizza or pasta, and I eat pizza pretty like regularly now.
That's ironic, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I also used to not like rap music like at all when I was younger because my parents were always just like, nope, bad. And so I wouldn't let myself like make my own opinion on it. I kind of just went with what they decided. And I think like I was listening to Tyler the Creator a little bit.
Mm.
But when Astroworld came out, that was what really changed it for me, I think.
Mm.
Cause my
Astro World was a great album too.
cause my teacher played sicko mode like in class, and I was like, "Wait, this is crazy!" And I went home listening to that whole album. I was like that changed
In
everything for me.
class?
It was like a censored version of it, I'm pretty sure. But yeah,
Nah, it's still cool though. 'Cause I never heard anybody just like playing a whole Travis Scott like album in class, especially. That's actually pretty cool.
yeah, we're from Houston, so
Yeah, that makes sense now. Which is it's still pretty cool. I don't care. It's still cool.
but yeah, so that like teacher unintentionally like changed my perspective on like everything.
Hey, that's still cool. Sometimes things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
What was the one thing I used to not really like? I used to not like guitar songs. I used to think they were boring. So, for me to do it now is pretty ironic if you think about it. Because I used to really be bored of guitar songs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, people singing about love and guitar.
Thing is that it can be like super boring though. It just
Yeah,
depends. I feel like you pick good instrumentals for your stuff
I try to,
where they
especially with
have like
Chris.
interesting chords and stuff.
Yeah, because especially with Chris, me and him be like, sometimes it's not that we be fighting over guitar songs, but we so happen to have the exact same taste. So we sometimes like I think one song that I dropped it recently, he ended up finding the instrumental for it, and he was like, "Damn," and I was like, "My fault." So we
Mm-hmm.
just like take turns, I guess, just finding good ones and then doing it.
Yeah. Speaking of Chris, actually, you work with him a lot, and one of my favorite songs that you've done together is December 31st, 2019, 11:59 p.m. Long title. Which
Oh, that one.
yeah, which is really somber. I think it's interesting they all do like duet songs on those kind of beats
Mm,
a lot. Or not even beats; they're not beats on those kind of instrumentals a
yeah.
lot.
Mm,
Although you do make some fun rap songs together as well.
yeah.
But talk about the song's title. The end of the year is always a time of reflection for me, and it makes me think about what I want to be doing differently for the next year. So, what are some New Year's resolutions that you've had in the past?
In the past, I would usually be like, I just want to be a better person than I was last year. That's always been my goal. Because I'm not really worried about like trying to like physically change myself. I want to change myself mentally because I want to be in a better spot mentally than I was
Mm-hmm.
last year. Because it's just I feel like that's just simple. It's not something hard to really do from a standpoint because you can always do something different and you will be mentally better. Even if it's just a small change, you're already better than you were last year. I feel like that's an easier thing for me to do because I'm not always gonna be the same person, and that's cool. But if I know I'm still myself at the end of the day and I'm better, then that's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Now I can explain the song title too if you want me to.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Oh, So it's more like a letting go song. Cause 2009, that's a date where I've had something, I guess, kind of like change my world around and change life in general. And not because 2020 was next year. It was more like I had a relationship and things kind of turned. Once I had the relationship, life changes course and things just happen around. And so it happened to be the next decade. And that was more of a I was just more of a song that I just used to let myself know that, I don't have to deal with the things I've dealt with for years
Mm-hmm.
and all the mixed feelings that I can finally be free and, let go.
Yeah, especially because it was like 5, 6 years ago at this point, which is really like scary to think about. It was that
Really
long
crazy.
ago.
Yeah. And honestly, I love what Chris did on there too. It added more emotion to it. Because
Mm-hmm.
originally it was me. So, you know, I asked Chris to be on it because I felt like he would add more to it. And I was very much correct. So yeah.
Yeah, I think some resolutions that I've had, because for me it's always a mental thing too. It's been
Mm-hmm.
like, I think freshman year of high school for 2020, it was that I gotta talk to people more. Cause like I have my friends from middle school, but I'd made like no new friends. So I was like, go do
Right.
that, and I actually did do that. But then COVID happened, and I didn't talk to any of the
Yeah.
people that I met like after that. So
Man, I hated COVID. It did a lot of things. It was terrible.
I mean, I don't know, cause I think a lot of it's nostalgia because like sometimes I'm like, oh man, COVID was so awesome, and I think about all the times where I was just like looking at the news during COVID and like just freaking out. So I feel like people forget about that part a lot.
I think, yeah, people just think about the better parts of it, which I can understand. I don't think people would like to think about the fact that at one point they had things going on and just a random virus just took things away. Because I think it's a terrible memory to think about, honestly.
Yeah, but I like a lot of what came with it, with the free time and being able to kind of like just openly explore what I was interested in without really having like anything else to do with my time.
Yeah.
But I think asking people to hang out was another one. That's for like 2023, because
Mm-hmm.
like I rarely got invited to stuff. But I still wanted to go do things. I realized that like a lot of my friends still like don't have cars, so they can't really like ask. So I started initiating, and then I had like the best summer I'd ever had because I was finally just like asking people to go do stuff for the first
Yeah.
time.
I can feel you on that. I used to not really go outside either, so it took me a while to be like, all right, I'm gonna go outside. I think I started going outside around the same time you were going outside, so
Mm-hmm.
it was definitely cool.
Yeah. So I know some people say that like New Year's resolutions like don't really help and whatever, but like if you try, like they can make an actual difference. I think.
Yeah, I feel like people don't realize that it's really up to you to learn, like go earn up to what you're saying, because you can say you want to do this and just not do it. That's like things you can do, yeah, but you can't just say New Year's resolutions don't work if you're not the one trying to do it. And that's like a big key on like you saying like you doing what you're saying and saying like just earn up to your word in general. If you want to earn up to your word, just do that. That it's just not. It's gonna be hard, yeah, because like it's easier to say than do it. But if you're making the right sacrifices, and it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, and you also don't have to like. I don't need to say this, but you don't have to wait until New Year's to make like mental changes or whatever either.
You really don't.
But it helps to have that like starting point. Being like, okay, from here on out, I'm gonna whatever.
And it's a valid starting point because it's a restart of a year, or it's a newer year where new chances, opportunities come.
Yeah, I don't know if you have this perspective, but for me, like each year almost has its own like story in my head, and it's like
Yeah.
at the start of January, like nothing's happened yet. You're on the first page, so you kind of get to like
Mm-hmm.
craft like how you think you want it to go.
Yeah. Honestly, I'll say for this year, I personally think I started in December because that's where stuff started really kicking up to next year. Not because of the album, but just because of my mental space alone.
Mm-hmm.
It took me places where I'd never been before, and it helped me, I guess, have better understanding of myself. So to fast forward to now, I've had a better understanding, just of my emotions and mental health alone. So it brings out like good parts of me,
That's really
which is
important. Yeah.
very, very important.
No, I was taking an emotional. Yeah, it was a class on emotional intelligence my freshman year of college, and we had to take some like tests at the start of the semester to like see where
Hmm.
everyone was at. And I had no idea because like I say I'm like pretty in tune with my emotions. I scored like high on that, but a lot of people in that class just like were not apparently, and it's like I feel like all you have is yourself at the end of the day. So if you're on tune with that, like it's gonna
Yeah,
cause a
it
lot more
kind of throws you off.
problems.
It throws you off a loop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but if you continue doing it, then it's bad. It's okay to not be able to understand at times, because at the end of the day, we're all here to learn about things. We're not going. We're not all going to like know things off the bat and be like, oh yeah, this is how you do this and that. That's what like learning is for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So in December 2024, you released your debut album,
Hmm.
EC Ernest Clark, which I was immediately super interested in after I heard some of the snippets you were posting. I think it was the
Hmm.
video where you were holding like the sword, and then it switches to start playing Home. And I heard that I was like, wait, this sounds
Ah,
so sick. And then I was actually like, excited for that album after. So,
I love you mentioned that. I'm actually looking at the store right now.
so snippets and promo do work because that got me like invested.
Yeah. So the reason I just had that because that was like the only video I knew of myself, and believe it or not, I still have it. So let me get it real quick. I still have it. It's really tap around. It's really fun. It's really funny. It's just to have it because Jesus help. Because I just had it there because I just thought it'd be like a cool way to I guess someone introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first I really just didn't want my face to be out there, but once I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna have to probably do that anyways, especially with music. I just did that.
Yeah, but I thought that was a really effective way to like get people's attention. It worked for me. But yeah, immediately the album became one of my favorite projects of the year. I've been going back to it a lot, especially to prepare for this interview because it's a very good like night album. So that's like shower album, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Um, and I know I was telling you that I really like the like bedroomy feel that
Mm-hmm.
project has. All the production is still very like expansive sounding, which I thought was
Yeah.
a cool contrast. So I know we talked about it at the start of the interview, but if you have anything else you wanted to say, like how was working on that project?
I'll say I worked on it for about probably 5 months before I got to drop it. So it like delayed a few things.
Mm-hmm.
It delayed the collab EP that's dropping in March. Like it was supposed to drop. I think it was supposed to drop in September, but because I was working on my album, it kind of just got held back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say it was a unique experience because I'll admit this. There's been times I was making songs I got overly emotional to my own songs, like Home. I got emotional to that song a lot more than I can remember because I had to keep recording parts. I had to re-reduce some parts a lot. So there was like a lot of times where it just like I guess helped me feel emotional and helped me I guess gain the ability to have more understanding. So it means a lot more than I can like explain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with the production, like where are you getting the instrumentals from?
Honestly, YouTube.
Because they're really like
Okay.
unique instrumentals. Like they're really unique, I think. So I was surprised. Like that's what I figured. But I don't even know
Yeah.
like what you would have been typing to find some of those and have them all like meshed together like that.
Honestly, that's a really good question because I'd be like, I have to like actually like dig to even find the type of style I want because there are great producers. Unfortunately, they're buried by a YouTube algorithm,
Mm-hmm.
so you have to like actually like dig to catch them. I'll say Prod Sick Boy, who like made some of the guitar songs that I've been dropping recently. Love his guitar stuff. I'll say Prod Miku, which I used to do this Your Stepdad type songs. Love his production. They were like those two are like one of my favorite producers to like work on their beats because I guess in a way it just like it helped me expand my sounds.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's like for like the intro song, for example, like what did you type to like find the instrumental? Like, do you remember?
I see. I was typing Jade's type beat entry log with piano, and it didn't give me a Jade's type beat. It gave me like a Frank Ocean X. I forgot her name. It started with like it's like Laffy. I think Laffy or
Oh, Wave,
uh,
yeah,
yeah, but she's like the one that's like Boston Nova songs.
yeah.
and that like it. I randomly found it. I was like, I love it. So I tried that out, and it worked out. And originally, because I was doing the jazz stuff, originally Cold War, if you know that song, was supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
on the album. But once I was shaping things around, I was like, this wouldn't make sense for the album because the song was technically for Chris. So I was just like, yeah, I just wouldn't put it there. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of implementing. Like, I don't know if the songs were listed as like free nonprofit or whatever, so I don't know if that might be an issue like at some point later.
I
But
mean, if it does become an issue, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to pay them off by then. I'm
hopefully, yeah.
confident that I have money because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna keep it there and be like, oh, I did all this and that. I'm aware that I'm gonna have to make sure that I gotta pay off because I'm intending on doing it. I just gotta find a way to get all the stuff right to do it. Of course, I'm not gonna just do that and make me feel like a dick if I did. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think that's a great way to implement using like YouTube like type beats and stuff because it's like it doesn't sound like a type beat the way you use them.
yeah, because my main goal is to have my own stuff. Yes, I'm inspired, but if I have my own stuff and my own flow, then I'm just my own person. And I feel like that should be the goal of music in general. Well, in terms of being competitive wise, if you wanna be out there, you gotta do your own stuff. Don't be no clone. Being a
Mm-hmm.
clone is not.
Yeah, if I had to tell you some of my favorites from that, I would say like Your Love Hurts Me, Promises,
Mhm.
Home, and then Before I Go probably are some of my favorites.
I'm so glad people are liking Before I Go. I love that song. Honestly, I'm glad I changed the song title because the original song title was a bit concerning. It was it was originally called a suicide notes
Mm-hmm.
because I guess the cover it was just scribbled out notes on a notebook. That's what the cover was. So I guess I was just kind of like trying to implement, like trying to add on to the story,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, it wouldn't really make it any better, or like I guess make it a bit eerier than it already sounds. So I just like Suffer Before I Go because it fit along with the song before, which was the breakup song. So in a way, it kind of just like added on to it.
Yeah. And I know you're talking about the song lengths earlier. Were like the instrumentals that long, or did you just shorten them to be that length?
Uh, most of them were that long. I'll say the one that I cut short was "Baby I'll Save You" because the song length was originally like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I felt like I cut it short perfectly because when like the therapist is like talking, the guitar starts going into it drifts off into like a different melody, and I feel like it worked for the transition. Not only that, but I guess it add more to like how you would feel if he was talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like this, I guess, gut wrenching feeling in a way, but it wasn't like a really bad. It was just more like, built up pressure for you to like, I guess, feel the way you feel.
Yeah. Another song from that project that I really enjoyed was "Time Really Flies," which is towards the end of the album. And given the song's title, what are some periods of your life that you look back on really fondly?
I'll say what I look back at really fondly is probably the times where I'm surrounded by friends and just able to have fun for a bit. I feel like that's something you can never really for granted because you never know when stuff ends. And with that, it just shows how much time can really go by when you're doing something or putting effort into it. Because at the end of the day, you can do so much and things will not last as long as you would want it to last.
Mm-hmm.
Which is an unfortunate truth. So I feel like that song was probably like an example because as much as the character did, he had to end up breaking up with the said person because he did it for so many years, and now just like there's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just more like that's like a universal thing in a way. You do so much things that you should get tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw on your Instagram you've done a lot of like graffiti and some like urban exploration stuff. Is that some stuff that you would say you look back on fondly?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Honestly, that was like the first time I even did something like that. My homeboys Corday, Ja, Tone, Trey. I don't think all of them were there, but I'm just gonna name all the homeboys. Janai. That's so many niggas. Mikey. Uh, yeah, just all of them. All of them. They know who they are. But yeah, they took me. They especially during that summer, they really took me around and it really helped me out because I wasn't really great in the mind during that time. So when they took me around, it really helped me out. So it was really beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always wanted to explore an abandoned building like that, but I've never had the chance to like find one that I felt like safe going into.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I really recommend it, honestly, because I think the first time I got into one, I was pretty iffy. And there was one of the pictures with me looking up with my mouth covered. It wasn't because I was posing for the camera, it was really because I was actually really not okay and I was really scared. and and my homeboy Trey so happened to take the picture, so it made it look like it was like supposed to happen when he was catching me in the middle of me being really concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm kind of happy it happened because like it really helped me, I guess, be more out there more and want to be outdoors.
Yeah, I know my friend was telling me that this guy he knows got like he brought like a ladder to like an abandoned mall and then like climbed up to go inside and like checked it out.
That's awesome.
So I don't know, something like that. But I think I'd be too scared about getting caught. But I guess if it's abandoned, it doesn't really matter.
It really shouldn't matter, but you also gotta look out because sometimes they be having traps in there too. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like a big concern. So the only reason we even like found the abandoned places because I think Cruz, one of our homeboys in the friend group, Cruz looked up the stuff and all that. So we were just like, cool, we can go to these places, yada yada. So we just went ahead and did that.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of an art to it because there's some people that just know. Like this guy that I followed in high school. He was always just going to random places, and at 2 in the morning, you would see him post being like the middle of nowhere in some building with like shattered windows. And it's just like I don't know how he keeps finding those places.
Yeah, but it'd be fun. It'd be fun when you're prepared. I'll say
Mm-hmm.
that. If you're prepared for it, then it'll be fun.
I think the closest I've been was I was on a walk with my friend one time, and we found this building where like the whole back of it was graffitied with like nice graffiti though. So I assumed
Mm,
that it was abandoned because like the windows were all like open and stuff. And I was
right.
about to like go like hop in there, but there was this guy just like staring back at me from the other side of the window when I got close enough, so I like ran away immediately.
They were just sitting there staring at you from the window.
Yeah,
That's funny.
so that's the closest I've gotten.
Mm.
I think we need to have a very close, intimate battle right now though, because I play
Mm.
rock paper scissors with every guest that I've had on in each interview,
Word.
and I beat Death Kitty in the last interview that I did. So I want to keep my streak going.
I bet.
Yeah, so it's 2 out of 3.
That.
And then close your eyes, just a little delay with the camera. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh, okay, you're off 1.
All right.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh.
Oh no.
Now what? Now what?
One more time. One more time.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay.
One more time.
Mm-hmm. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh. Good game. Good game. I thought you might have gone paper there, but I wasn't sure.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah, with
I
that one,
lost.
it's okay though. I think Ghosty and Payton have both lost from the island, so
Oh man. So you got a whole winning streak against the island?
I mean, not like a streak because I lost to Jake in the same interview. So,
Let's go.
but I'd say y'all's record isn't that great now I think about it.
1-3.
Yeah, I think the Oh, there's one collective I've interviewed a lot of people from called Kill Streak Certified. I think I've done like 8 or 9 of their members, and only 2 of them have won.
Oh my god. So
Uh,
you just killing collectives out here, huh?
yeah, but Fiji Island though, they've killed me though. I've interviewed only 2 people from there, but they both won.
Mm.
They're super cool though. The 2 people, they're all from like Europe and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
So this guy from Iceland, this guy from Norway.
That's really cool. I be forgetting that music be like actually like, all over the place, not just here.
Yeah, and that's cool because sometimes they'll rap in like Icelandic or like in Norwegian their music, but they still have like that, I guess like
Yeah.
American influence on it.
But they still got their own flair.
Yeah. Yeah, like this is the 50th interview I've done now, so like we got the whole world on Hidden Driveway.
Yeah.
I think you're the second Indiana artist I've done also, because I've done Coasty in the past, who's also from there.
Mhm. That's what's up.
I know she rides for Indiana really hard, especially like the football team there, like the Hoosiers or something.
Coats. You talking about the Indiana? You talking about the Coats?
I
You
think,
said football team.
or maybe what are the Hoosiers? Is that maybe that might be her college team? Though. I don't know.
Oh, yes, the college team then.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really like all the Indiana teams here. I'm not gonna lie. I will say, I guess the Pacers. I rock with the Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
They good enough for me to rock with them. I don't want to be sitting here and being agonized in pain over my own hometown team. I can't do it. The Colts especially, I can't do it. They can't win nothing. Last time they won was like 2012. I'm not waiting that long. It's 2025.
Okay, but it can't happen though. So maybe this year.
No, it's
No?
not happening.
No?
No,
Not no hope whatsoever.
not against Philadelphia. They just beat the Kansas ass. I'm not. No, that's GG's. We're not winning that.
Okay, are there any teams that you do like rock with
Philadelphia.
against your home team? You can root for the other team.
I mean, I know a lot of people from Philadelphia, so it's fly equals fly or something like that. Birds. But yeah, they cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not much of a sports person. The only reason, like, cause I'm from Texas, so I know about the whole like Luka Doncic. Like, I know about that, but no, my friend from Cali texted me asking me if there were riots here about it. He thought like it was that serious.
Yeah, people were really doing like really riot. Like they were actually doing riots down there, which is crazy because I think the last time I was there in Dallas was like when they didn't trade him. So that was probably like around Thanksgiving. So I'm kind of glad I'm not down there now.
Yeah,
I'll probably join it.
I'm in Austin for college, so we have riots, but it's not about Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Okay, moving on though. So one of my favorite songs of yours, which is another song with Craig.Wave, is Pain So Bad We Sung in Spanish. And what you and Craig can both sing in Spanish, I can't even speak the language. So what are some skills that you would like to have that you currently don't?
Honestly, I wouldn't even call it singing in Spanish a skill because I really didn't know what to do, and I was just using Google Translate, and he was too. So if I was to have that skill, I would definitely love that because that's just something that I feel like would help me more. And I really love like Spanish songs in general. Like in my free time, honestly, I would sit there and actually just listen to them, just like sing Spanish with guitar songs or whatever, the mariachi like that. Like I really love that music. It's really good.
Oh wait, I have an album recommendation for you then. It's like the exact thing that you said. I'll type it in here. But
yeah,
No Say More by Araquemos is so good.
I will look at that.
But it's all like really chill like guitar songs that are in Spanish.
I can't wait to look at that then.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite album finds from like last year, I think. So definitely worth checking out.
I got you.
Also, was that song name was that inspired by the X song? Where he's like, I can't even speak Spanish, LOL. Is it that one?
Actually, no. That was just like, it was just us like just being bored. And I forgot what the title was originally named anyways. So originally it was just supposed to be Chris. That was supposed to be his song. And I asked if I could hop on because I really liked like those type of songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was like my first guitar song I ever did actually. Like in terms of like like just like I guess singing like that was like my first one. Cause usually with the guitar songs, I would have like the little muffled thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my first time just testing it out and like actually seeing it out there. So it was a unique experience.
Yeah, I thought it came out pretty good though. If I had to say a skill that I wish I had, it would definitely be like being able to draw. I think, cause
Yes.
like I can do some little doodles, but it's nothing crazy, and I wish I could like draw cover art and stuff the way I picture it in my head, because I can't do it.
Man, I don't know how they be having so much patience while drawing though. Like just me drawing a stick figure pisses me off alone. So like I can't imagine them just sitting there for hours just gotta do this line art here. Oh, mistake. Redo. Like, I would get really mad.
Plus, doing the thing where they like flip the image to see if it looks right the other way.
Yeah. That's like even more that's just like imagine you get done with that, right? Like that one side, you gotta flip over just to know that you messed up on the other side. That would just I already get mad at my computer. So good God, would I can imagine how mad I'd be at drawing.
Mm-hmm. I do like getting to work with my friends on covers though, and like telling them the idea I have and then seeing how they execute it is like super fun for me. So
Mm.
so even though I can't draw, I like that I can bring other people into like the process for it.
Hmm. I have a lot of drawing friends. It was actually pretty cool to have some drawing friends because mm, I forgot what I called this one. I forgot her name. Hold on, I'm sorry. It's just like I have so many friends that I
Mm-hmm.
like. It's good to have a lot of connections, but the only struggle is just remembering people's names. But she used to like give me like old drawings, or he hold on shit. There we go. He used to give me old drawings, and it was like cool because that was like my first time ever getting like any type of art of me. So I always thought it was just cool because I think when I was MG, I used to want a clown persona,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like before I was like figuring out what I want to be. So when I had like this little clown persona art, I was just like, this is so cool because like just seeing myself in an art style was actually really exciting. It still is. I like don't get me wrong. If I was able to get another type of art, I definitely would want that. I think I can show the example here too. I think this was like one of the examples. It was like an old art from one of my old songs that me and Chris had
Mm-hmm.
originally, and this is like the art that they created for me.
Oh yeah, and like
And
what inspired the name change, I guess.
I'll say because I had a lot of name changes before even MG. When I first was starting, I used to go by Konami, which is a name I'm not really fond of now, clearly. But it was Konami, then it was Josie, then it was just Josiah, which is my name. Then it was Prentisation, which is basically just knockoff X, really just a knockoff version of X. Then it was MG with just like the E. Then it was MG with the 3 and the fancy I. And then the reason I changed it to NUNU or NUNU.WAVE was because NUNU was my childhood nickname. And my mom used to call me that. So knowing that she was like a big part of my like supportive system, would always help me and give me money to be able to promote for my music. I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, why not just name it, what I was called in the past? Because it's more reliable for my music.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm never gonna be like, hey, turn that MG on. Who is MG? They're gonna be like, hey, turn that NUNU.WAVE on. Because that's easier to me personally. I had to add the dot wave, not to copy off of Chris, but because when you will look up Nunu, you will find Koreans, like Korean K-pop artists. Not to sound that sounds really bad. Hold on. You would find K-pop artists that would be like named Nunu. And I was like, well, I'm gonna have to add a little thing to it to make it easier. So I just went with dot wave since I asked Chris about it first because I didn't want like I don't me and him always talked and I don't like doing things similar because I feel like it's someone biting off his flow because he got his own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's really his own stuff, so I don't want to feel like I'm biting off his stuff. So me and him often communicate with that. So yeah, I just went with dot wave and it just worked better.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had done that, but I feel like I've gone by my current name for too long. I want to change it
Which is fair.
because like my art team is AAMU, And when I came up with it, like it was just like I think that I had made. I
Mm-hmm.
realized that there's a college that has like AAMU'S their acronym, so that kind of gets in
Ah,
the way. And then recently there's this like Japanese like AAMU that makes like Vocaloid music that's popped up, and thankfully like she like capitalizes her name different
mm-hmm.
and like makes a different kind of music, so it's not like a lot of overlap. But it's
Right.
annoying because now hers will pop up instead of mine, even though I was doing it first. 'Cause she didn't like check if that name was taken yet.
Kind of sucks, really. That's why it's probably gave me a lot of name changes too. Because honestly, I think I had like a bit of a personality thing I couldn't find out about. Like I didn't know what I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
so it kind of like, I was always like, "Hi, I need a new name. Ah, this don't fit me. Ah, this ain't fitting my style. Ah." So that honestly, that's really up to you though. Because if you feel like it works for you, then you don't really need to change it. But if you feel like it's beneficial for the change, then you can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think seeing people like Ian blow up has made me realize like it doesn't matter.
It really don't matter at all.
Like if he can make it work with that name, then I think it's fine.
I mean, I don't think there's many people named Ian though that would be making music. I mean, there's Ian Dior,
Well, I know, but
but
just in terms of search results, like just going by Ian, like
you're right. You're right. Yeah, yeah. I see. Yeah, that's understandable now. Yeah, I can see that.
because like on streaming, obviously like, my stuff still pops up. But if you just like Google me, like you're not gonna find anything.
Right.
I don't know, I feel like if I were to add stuff to it, because I like the name, it's just the
Mhm.
search results part. So I'll probably just stick with it.
I mean, hey, if you don't feel like you need to, if you don't feel like you need to change it, just don't do it.
Mm-hmm. Also, I like that I know the reason for your name now because I think it makes like the pictures of like you as a kid for a lot of your like socials and stuff.
Yeah, make like a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
Honestly, that wasn't really the intention. Like, like having my like, I wasn't planning on just like having it there just because I just like the photos because I feel like that's just like I guess it's just like the origin start. I was always growing up around like musical talents, like family members back then, so I just music was always there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, you know what? Why not?
Yeah. Moving on. So while I was while I was researching for this interview, I came across your NUNU.REACT'S page on Instagram, where you do these like
Ah,
funny voiceover videos, and a lot of artists also create content on the side, whether it's for fun or out of necessity to promote themselves. So, is this something that you see yourself doing more in the future?
I can use it more. I just haven't been using it lately because I've been more focused on music. The reason why I created it was to, I guess, be more like a venting source so I can like laugh
Mm-hmm.
and like because when I was making an album, that's where I was like, getting used to being emotional. So I wasn't feeling too well, and I was like always stressed out. So when I started doing that, it just like relieved me a little bit because it was just something I can be goofy on
Mm-hmm.
and just enjoy, like just joking around. And a lot of people or some people like it. So the fact that people find humor and what I find humor, just like, oh, cool, I'm not alone with this.
You know, I really like the videos, all the animals fighting, with the sound effects.
My homeboy Tyon helped me with that actually. He one of the videos he was on feature, I think was the one with the kangaroos
Yeah,
fighting
yeah,
or the one where the goat was being chased around by that big reptile thing. But yeah, he also helped out with that.
yeah. I do think there is a issue we have with the current music climate though, where it's like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
artists do kind of have to be both like an artist and a content creator to like be able to be successful, which
Yeah,
sucks because you should only have to worry with the music side of things. And I know a lot of
right.
people that put more like time and energy like into promo than they do like for their actual music at the moment to like get it pushed out there.
Right. It's pretty hard to really do promo videos. It's actually like I think the reason why I started doing more was because like after the trailer for the album, like all the trailers, I felt
Mm-hmm.
like it gave me the way to just start doing it for all the other songs that I feel like would fit a trailer or a promo. Like with not the one. I felt that it was easy for me to do it because what the thing I used like their conversation was off of anime.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was just if I just like put like the overlay video of them talking, it would match up with the vocals and yada yada. It just made things a little easier because after that, it was somewhat give attention. It would somewhat bring attention, and it would stay long enough to listen to the lyrics or like read the lyrics. So it's like you can really promo and have the most simplest thing. It's not that hard to really promo and have the simple things. Like the simple things can bring attention.
Yeah, it's also like it's so weird because like I have a friend that I've interviewed on here before, and he promos like he posts like 3 reels a week and stuff, and it's been doing it for almost a year, and just really hasn't like he's experienced growth on like social media, but, like not really
Right.
with his music, and then like I'm not gonna say my numbers are like great, but all I'll do is just post the announcement for the song, and then I get more from that than he does with the songs, and it's like I don't know. I feel like it's random sometimes.
I also feel like sometimes if you overdo something, it won't give you the growth you want. I feel like if he's doing it 3 times a week, as you said, I feel like it might be overlapsing like the other progress of another one because it's all about timing. You can like my thing is like when it comes to posting, especially with music, I'll just like, hey, I'll just make sure that I have a decent time space between each song. So you can listen to that song as many times as you would like to while waiting for the song that's coming out later.
Mm-hmm.
Or with the reactions. I don't constantly do it because it's also mentally draining. And I make sure that when I do it, it's on top of his best ability and it leaves more room for ideas.
And when it's like fun to do, also because it's
Yeah.
just for fun.
Right. But it's like when it comes to anything you want to do, you gotta give it time. So first of all, I'm gonna give your friend props for even posting things for like a week, like just 3 things in the same week. I can't even do that. Like I can't do that. So I'm gonna give him props for that.
You know,
But I feel
he's
like
like a machine. Like he has everything like scheduled out for like everything. I don't know how he does it.
that's amazing. I'll just say this though. I feel like just letting things breathe out probably will let things a little easier, especially if you wanted to have like the looks and all that.
He's doing that soon. I think part of it is also I don't. I was gonna say that it's the Instagram like algorithm, like the
Mhm.
way it works, but I don't know because he gets better results on TikTok. So, but
Yeah,
they
I think
both
he's
don't
doing it more
convert
with
to music that
TikTok.
much.
Yeah, I think he's doing more of like the TikTok type of schedule. Because if it was doing it on TikTok, it's probably most likely gonna get more plays than on Instagram. Because with Instagram, you could take a break and get back to it and you get the same results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I've really enjoyed everything that you've put out this year, or not this year. Well, I guess, but just in general, right? And I'm excited to see
Yeah,
what you do going forward from here. So, considering that we're
thank you.
at the start of the year right now, still,
Mhm.
what are your plans for the rest of 2025? If you had like a rough outline of like what you want
Um,
to do.
honestly, if things go the right direction, I might make something off of the EC because my whole plan with the EC album was just to have my own little universe
Mm-hmm.
because I got my own little persona, and it's just Ernest, which is just basically just me and just like everybody else dealing with life struggles. And if I play my cards right, because I know that I'm gonna look some beats from Airdrop Kid, who's a part of the island. I might try and use more of my surroundings and like probably work more into like a rapping type of
Mm-hmm.
project, which is more chilled and more like I guess more like freestyles. Because with the character, he does all these stuff to try to get better. He does like the daily, like I can't say daily drugs, but like when somebody's unwell, sometimes they do like the drugs, weed, all that. So the setting for that, it's just basically like him, like how with his friends, freestyling all that, trying to get his mind off of the girl that he left. So that's just more like, I guess, just to explore another realm. Plus, Chris, if you heard from the album, especially with the one that skits like best friend, I called him Terry, which is Chris's character. So he might even make something off of that, and I'll probably help along with that if I can.
Mm-hmm.
So those like 2 big goals I want, and probably the other one is probably to aim more towards like I guess exploring more into the singer realm and see how that goes because that gave me a really big result and I'm comfortable enough to where I can switch in between rapping and singing. So I feel like if I explore more the singing realm, I feel like it can get me like a bigger fan base even.
Yeah, because like there's definitely an audience for that. So I'd be excited to see you explore like both directions and just like see how they could work together. Also,
Mm-hmm.
mm. And then maybe anything that you want to like manifest for this year that you'd like to happen.
What I want to manifest for this year is probably well, that's a really good question. I never really thought about that. What I want to manifest is probably even just like probably a decent fan base, which I'm already growing, but I feel like this year is definitely a year where I can get a decent fan base and be comfortable about having a fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe I have the talent. I believe that a lot of people believe I have the talent. And I told Eli, who's like, which is Blank Space, which is one of the co-owners, he was like, "You going hard this year?" I said, "The only reason I'm going hard is because I feel like it's my turn to go hard."
Mm.
And And it's like there's no shade to anybody in the groups I'm a part of. I love them all dearly. I just feel like I have the talent to where I can take over a little bit. And I feel like that's not being egotistic. It's more like betting on myself.
Yeah.
Because if I'm able to always improve each year to where I'm getting better results, then I feel like I have what it takes to be able to just be like, hey, I'm just here and I'm that guy. Especially when I just now got a Google, like I just got a Google page. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like
Yeah, I
I'm that
saw that. Yeah.
guy. So it's like, yo, you have, especially throughout like the 2 month period from the album to the Google page, a lot of things happen. I just got not too long ago, I had 600 some monthly listeners. I don't have that no more because it goes down. But that was a big achievement in itself. It may not sound a lot to people who are like bigger than me, but at one point I barely had triple digits. So like, you know,
Yeah, it's all perspective because like I have like around like 60 right now, which like to me I'm
mm-hmm.
cool with. So like 600 is like a lot to me, but someone that has like
Yeah.
100,000 is be like, what?
I mean, even having 60 is still crazy because it's like you got people that actually listen consistently.
Yo,
So
like,
that's
that's
always
like
something.
two whole classes of people from your school listening to it.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's a lot. It may not sound a lot, but it's a lot. If you go in a room with them, even if it's 10, think about it. You're in a room with 10 people. That's a lot. That's a lot of people in the room, ain't it?
Yeah, and they choose to listen to it every month too. When they can
Exactly.
listen to anything that like literally anything.
Which
So
is why it's crazy.
yeah, so, yeah. Hopefully, very good things for you this year.
Thank you. I really
Um.
hope.
Oh.
Sorry, I was gonna say I just really hope that things do go really good. Because if it does, I'm gonna make sure I bring up a lot of people up with me, especially the two groups. Because of course, they brought me up there, so I got to make sure that I bring them up with me too. That's just a fair share. I feel like that's what relationships all about. If they help you, you should be able to help them as equally. And even if you try and not able to do it, at least you tried.
That's how it should be, yeah. Because I know there's a lot of people where like they go up a little bit just because of exposure from like working with other artists a lot. So
Yeah,
it like definitely can work.
most definitely.
And then as the episode comes to a close, is
Mm-hmm.
there anything you'd like to give a shout out to?
All right. Anybody want to give a shout out to? Honestly, there's like a lot of people. I'll give my shout outs to like some people I didn't really get to mention. Amir, Legion, Shade, Naima, Cat, just like a few people that are like in a friend group that don't have anything to do with the music group. It just more I'm giving them a shout out because they were also there when times were rough. So I just want to give them a shout out because they were able to support me. Even if they didn't listen to my music, they were able to support me mentally. So I feel like in a way, besides just the music stuff, friendships are also really big. I want to give a shout out to my little brother too, because he he's one of the reasons why I still make music. Because I originally wanted to quit 2 years ago. And he was just like, listen to my music. So when I heard him recite my lyrics, it meant a lot. Jaleel, my older brother, want to give a shout out to him because me and him barely got to talk at one point. So me and him connected. And, he supports my music. It means a lot because it's kind of crazy to think about it. You don't talk to a family member after so long, and when you do, he supports your stuff. That means a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly my pops, because without him, I really wouldn't be into music. So those are like the few people I want to give a shout out to.
Yeah. All right. Well, shout out all those people. And shout out NUNU.WAVE. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
It was super fun getting to talk to you. I know we've had this in the works for a minute now, so I'm glad we got to make it happen.
Hey, I thank you for letting me have the chance to even talk here. It's like the first time that I even really get a chance to even like just like do something like this. So
of course, yeah,
it's
like
pretty cool.
that's why I love doing these because it gives artists a space to just like talk about their music. Because like when artists are like our size, they usually don't. So I'm glad there's
Yeah.
finally like a thing where people can come to do that. But all of his links will be in the description down below. So if you are not tapped in with NUNU.WAVE, go do that. He's awesome. I'll also
Yes,
have
sir.
3 of my favorite songs by him in the playlists that are on Spotify and SoundCloud. So if you want like a little intro to his work, there'll be that too. And is there anything else that you would like to say?
Nah, I think that's it, man.
Okay, well, I'm Amu. This has been the Hidden Driveway Show. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Bye bye.